Hey, I'm Shiraz, and I'm about to shift someone's limiting beliefs, get them to step out of a story that they have been addicted to for possibly months, possibly decades. Now, here's the cool thing. I'm going to ask them, are you willing to step out of that story? And when I ask them that, you can say yes if you have the same story, and it's going to shift for you too. You may actually feel it in your body. Now, when people shift, there is a shift in energy. I tend to yawn and cough even through the Zoom platform. So be prepared for that. It's a little weird. I know. I don't know why my body does it. I just go with it at this point. So watch the video, check out more videos that I've done to get more shifts and have a good time.
Money would be good.
That did not come out
There
true.
are I know. I feel like there are blocks to picking a direction and generating it and holding on to it. Like I just feel like there's a time like this is and I'm trusting it's a breakdown before a breakthrough, but the breakdown feels I'm ready to step out of that story.
Whatever that story is.
Whatever that story is, I'm ready to
Okay.
step out of it.
What is bad about money?
I don't know, but I was watching this YouTube video the other day, or maybe it was whatever. Some video came across my awareness, and this woman was talking about her values, and she's like, I mean, my family is a value, and so I spend a lot of time with them, and I'm committed to them, and they're a value for me, and making money is a value. And I literally I just had a visceral reaction to the idea of making money as a value. And then
Ooh,
she went and talked about, health and wellness. I'm like, I'm totally on board with that. But the awareness of the recoil and ew, really? I just felt so repulsive might be a strong word for it, but there was
okay.
definitely a nope, that is not true for me, and a resistance to that.
Okay. What would be wrong having making money as a value?
I don't know. It's
Is that greed?
that greedy was one of the first words that came to mind.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a whole lot charged with that.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, you had mentioned something, I worked with somebody around not making money to spite someone.
Yeah.
And God and I had a real interesting conversation this morning. And I was like, is that possibly who I'm trying to not succeed in
Hmm.
spite of him or to spite him? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the root of it is. I feel like I've done some work on it in the last week or two, and I am not shifting it.
Okay. So to give us a little bit of context on what Jen's talking about is when we have someone in our lives that says something like, you're never going to amount to anything. There's two major ways we react to that. Number one is, I'm going to prove you wrong. And then you do everything you can to create success. So you can throw it in their faces and like, you said I'd never amount to anything, and look at me now. The other thing we can do is create failure so that we can blame them. Because you told me I'd never amount to anything. Look what that has done. It feels to your unconscious mind like you're somehow punishing them, even though you're creating failure for yourself. Right. And it's just your mind picks one of two directions to go in. So, are you willing to step out of the story that you need to make sure you don't make money to spite him?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that making money as a value means you're greedy?
Yes.
Oh, that didn't quite move. Okay.
Mm.
Thought that was going to move. So if you're making money, you're in a position to help a lot more people and help yourself, right?
Still feels
Greedy.
like that responsibility piece coming up too.
Okay. So we'll get to the
Yep.
responsibility piece.
Yep. Yep.
Greedy is when you want all the money and you don't want other people to have money.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want money and you're fine with everyone else having money, that's not greedy. That's just like abundance.
I don't think abundance is in my vocabulary very strongly right now.
Okay. So we need to get some financial abundance in your vocabulary.
Yes.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that wanting to make money means you're greedy?
Yes.
And if you make lots of money, does that mean you have more responsibility?
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to step out of that story?
Yes.
Ow. Several people are reacting to that one. Okay.
I felt like I want to, but yeah, maybe not. Um, yeah, God,
Okay.
there's so much tied to this.
Okay.
And part of the interesting thing is like in the last probably 4 or 5 months is the most activity, the most visibility, the most I have done the things to grow my business. And I feel like I have taken 5 steps back and
Okay.
none of it has actually brought more business or anything else. So, but I don't trust that it's going to come unless I do. Like that is a big piece that's coming up right now.
Okay. So does making lots of money mean doing a lot?
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't have to. It can, but it doesn't have to. So are you willing to step out of the story that making lots of money means doing a lot?
I want to say yes.
And you're not. I can feel so much resistance on
So much resistance.
it. Okay.
Well, it's like, I mean, I really want to start leaning into doing more in corporate. And I know the sales process is a little bit longer and stuff, but the money is also more and so on. And there
Mhm.
is something that like, as soon as I start defining, I literally do a right turn and an about face. And it's like, I'll do anything except for go in that direction and actually start doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So you've put a responsibility around money. You've put a responsibility around what you're doing with people, especially in corporate. Can you make any mistakes when you're dealing with corporate?
Yeah. Some minimal, maybe not.
Right. From well, yeah to some to no, right? In about 2 seconds.
Which goes back into my perfectionism stuff and I have to do it all right. And I'm
Right.
responsible for everyone and everything. And
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that when you work with people, you have to get it right all the time?
yes.
Okay.
That one is loaded.
Yeah. Are you willing to step out of the story that more money comes with more responsibility?
Yes.
You're on the edge there. You know, when you have more money, you can hire people to take the workload off. So it's less responsibility. When you have more money, you don't have to worry about things like, do I have to put the money towards paying for rent or paying for food or paying for this because you got all that covered. So now it's just all this extra money. Like, what do I want to do with that? Have some fun, invest it. It's all these choices. It's not responsibility.
Yeah, that doesn't feel true.
Okay.
Like, so one of the things that's really been on my heart for the last 2 years is buying a house. And at the same
Mhm.
time, buying a house means a lot more responsibility, a lot more maintenance, a lot more care, and a lot more money. So as much as I want it, there's also this massive amount of resistance. Like, no, I really don't want all of that that comes with it.
Yeah. So here, and this is where people get caught up because what you're doing is you're looking at the next step and not the step that's above that. Okay. So what I mean by that is you're looking, okay, if I get a house, that's a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of maintenance, as opposed to if I make even more money, I can hire people to do the maintenance and take care of the house, and I can just live in the house and enjoy myself.
Right.
So you're putting a cap on how much you can have
Right. Because then I have to do more to be able to make the money to be able to hire everybody else.
because the stories are I have to work harder to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if the more money you make, the easier it becomes?
That'd be great.
Okay. So who taught you that the only way to make more money is to work harder?
Probably my dad.
Okay, that's coming up true. Are you willing to step out of his story that the only way to make more money is to work harder?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that making more and having more means more responsibilities.
Yes.
And do you have to do all of this on your own?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of that story?
Yes.
Well, okay. My New Year's Eve event is coming up in like a month and a half. I could promote that to my list, Facebook, LinkedIn, email list, and see how many people show up. Or I could put a call out and say, hey, who'd like to help me promote? I put the call out. I have 45 people helping me promote. That's way easier than me doing it all on my own.
Yeah.
Okay. My
Um,
million dollar impact makers program, it helps women coaches get to $1 million in sales. However, we cover a lot of things like lead generation and getting on stages and masterminding and creating specific packages. And while I'm good at what I do, my thing is the mindset. It's not all the practical stuff. I can teach, but I'm not the expert. So I got a bunch of experts to come in and teach so I don't have to do it. So it's less responsibility because I don't have to do it all on my own,
mhm.
right? When you feel you've got to do it all on your own, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage.
I recognize that, and I
Yeah.
continue to recur back like that. I think that's part of my addiction is the lone wolf. And if I don't have to rely on anybody else, then I don't have to get let down by anybody else. And I can just
Okay.
like power up and power through and get it all done.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to make sure you don't rely on anyone so you don't get let down by
Yes.
anyone? And here's what's going to happen is you're going to work with people and some people are going to let you down and some people are going to do exactly what you expect and some people are going to go above and beyond. That's just life. So the people that let you down, you're like, well, I'm not going to work with you anymore. I'm going to find someone else that it doesn't. And eventually you'll only be left with people that you love working with. But you have to be willing to go through that let down process for some people. If you try to protect yourself from that, then you're not going to work with anyone.
Okay.
So are you willing to let people let you down?
I would like to say yes.
And remember, it always comes down to emotions. It's the emotion you feel when someone lets you down. And
Hmm.
you're choosing to go to this low emotion, like, oh my God, they let me down, as opposed to, oh, that person let me down. Let me just replace them.
Yeah.
That is a much easier space to be in than, oh, damn it, again. I hate
Well,
that.
and I think this goes back to the conversation. When I started the conversation, I had an interesting conversation with God earlier today
Yep.
because so much of it, I think, stems back to that in my younger years.
Okay. So has God let you down?
Hmm.
Okay.
So in my 13-year-old mind, yes,
Mm,
God, parents, like
okay.
the ones I
So,
should be able to trust
yep.
implicitly, could not.
Okay. So I can see parents, I can see friends, teachers. All God all the universe does is support you in what's going on in your mind. So for me, I need to get love from people. So I need to get stopped at borders. And God supported me every step of the way. Right? Threw me in jail for it. Right? Look, you're
Hmm.
going to have an amazing story when you get out of this one. I got your back.
Yeah.
That's how God works. God's giving you exactly what you need. So when you really understand that, it becomes, well, why am I asking God for this? Right? And that's what we come down to. What's the benefit here?
Right. Well, and I think that that's where the not relying on anybody else has been.
Mhm.
because at 13, I made the decision that he let me down and my parents let me down. And so that's been like, I've just come to realize this is like literally in the last 24 hours is how much of that belief that I can't rely on anyone
Mhm.
stems back to that
Okay.
during that time.
Okay. Are you willing to stop being 13 when it
Yes.
comes to relying on people?
Yes.
Okay. Don't let the kid run the show.
Yeah.
Remember, your younger self doesn't have the emotional fortitude that you have. So it's going to hurt more.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stop reverting to that younger self when something happens, then you're like, oh, that just happened, as opposed to, oh my God, this hurts so bad.
Yeah.
Okay. How's that feel?
Better. Grounded.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome. All right, let's give Jen some love. Hey, did you like that? I hope so. I hope you got a great shift out of it. And just keep in mind, there are hundreds of videos on this channel. You can watch them, say yes when I ask you to step out of story and get more shifts. I have clients that do that every single day. Now, if you want to work with me in person, just go to the link down there for Ignite Your Success. And that's where these videos come from. I do a free workshop every month, the second Monday of the month. And the cost for admission, it's not money. It's you're going to end up here on the YouTube channel. If you're okay with that, happy to work with you. If you want more privacy, we'll then look into some of my programs. We're going to have some more information on them below. Anyway, thank you. We're off. Enjoy your life. Don't be afraid to be the happiest person in the room. Got it? Okay. Bye.